understand deeper. A funny thing, about 10 years back, in front of the house I'm living, one chapel disappeared. Might be from the dogs. So then for some time I was careful, then I kept it like outside for years, and then a few days back I thought, oh, my chapel, might be I should put in. Then I put it in again 2 days, then it was boring, and then one chapel was disappeared, probably again from a dog. What's that?
It's definitely the most abstract question I've ever been asked. But it's also the most perfect question, because every question is perfect. So would you like to share with us your answer before I give you my answer? What do you think it is?
It's easy to say it's the divine game, and sometimes we are connected to the divine game and that we know what will happen.
Do you like that answer? Does that answer satisfy you?
I have the feeling maybe there is something more.
Right. There's nothing more. Except to say that you're always connected. We can say the feeling of connection comes and goes, and even our teacher used to talk about being connected to the source. But ultimately, you have to accept, I think from your own experience, that if consciousness is everything, consciousness is the chapel, and the dog, and you, and the coming and going of the chapel. Otherwise you have to use a different concept. Not consciousness is everything, not consciousness is all there is. And if you want to use a different concept, then we can talk about that. But the concept that's shared here, and it is a concept, is consciousness is everything. Everything, everything, everything. So even what appears to be the connection and the disconnection is consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So then how can there be no connection? How can you be disconnected?
The lack of awareness?
So how can there be lack of awareness?
Being busy with the brain in other directions.
Okay, so there's a something that's busy with the brain.
Yeah.
So we're back to where we always are. What is that something that's busy with the brain? I can see it. It's right in front of me. It's sitting on that chair. It's nothing magical, nothing mysterious. I am busy with the brain, or the brain is busy with me. So what is that? What is this I? What is this me?
So the I is a part of the oneness. And me the same.
And?
Me the same.
And the brain?
This is a part of that.
And the chapel?
here. So then I'm also the chapel and I'm also the dog.
But when we say I in that moment,
Yeah.
because we use a personal pronoun, I, it generally refers to this, what we consider ourselves to be, the identity that we believe in. But if you use the I as an expression of the totality of consciousness, everything that is and isn't, all space and time, and using the word I would also be correct. But then you're using it in an impersonal sense. Yeah? So the personal I asks the question, all questions. And then the impersonal I is answering the question through the personal I. Because if there was no personal I, there could not be a question, there would not be an answer, there could not be experience, there couldn't be a chapel or a dog, there'd be nothing to be aware of. So this apparent impersonal I and personal I is what we can say is consciousness in manifestation, manifested consciousness, in the duality. The duality has to be all these different objects, including the chapel, including the dog. And then various things will happen, an infinite number of things will happen in so-called duality. But it is always the I, impersonal I, or even drop the impersonal I, drop the I, consciousness, drop consciousness, something, no thing, that is making everything happen. It appears, it seems. So any question will always arise from the same source, as the chapel came from, as the dog came from. And what appears to be connection and disconnection is this apparent movement, this apparent play, this apparent relationship between the impersonal I and the personal I. So it feels like I'm suddenly connected to my source. I'm connected to myself. But is that really happening?
So this is the switch between relative reality and absolute reality.
Yes.
This jumping
Yes.
between these two.
So
things.
is the jumping really happening, is what I'm asking you.
It's only the focusing on that of it.
So the lens changes focus.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute, relative. But is that really happening, that movement? Is that really what is taking place? Is that your understanding?
Not in real, but it's we give him the name to express.
That's right. So we can say that when we use the word real in that context, it definitely is the five senses and the thoughts of this body-mind organism that are receiving that information, processing it. We can't deny that. We can't deny that this is here, and this has a name, has desires, preferences, thoughts, etc., etc. But the confusion is that initially, at the beginning, we think this is all I am. Then a concept comes from somewhere, and then we realize, oh, well, actually, that is all I am. And then we can say, well, that and this is all I am. Yeah? So when we fully accept, and then when it's fully integrated, that and this is what I am. I am that I am. What Jesus Christ said. I am that I am. Or I am that I am. You can say it in different ways. So we can't deny this. We can't say, oh, it's all illusion. But if we do, then this also is illusion. And if this is illusion, then that has to be illusion as well. So then it's just words, isn't it? What is real, what is illusion? But we use the words to try and describe something which cannot be described in words. So the words are useful. And more so, the words help us to then come back to this. Fully live this. With all the complexity and sometimes problems, sometimes pleasure and sometimes pain, desires and everything that this is. Knowing that that is what this is. Consciousness is I. Personal, everything else, including chapel and dog.